You may enjoy riding jet skis for summer fun, but Ukraine is using them a little differently.
Find out what you can do to keep your children from becoming a bully.
And Denton has some amazing trails that would be great for this weather.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Samantha Rodriguez.
And I'm Drew Maurer. An update on filling the vacant role of Speaker of the House. Though voting is still underway, Jordan has failed to win the gavel in this second round of voting, and we will keep you updated on this.
Terrorist group Hamas is using this social media platform called Telegram to communicate. CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan reports.
Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization in the United States, is banned by major tech companies like Meta and Google. But on Telegram, the group is thriving, especially since the October 7th attack on Israel. One Hamas account jumping from 200,000 followers to almost 700,000 followers. Another from 160,000 to more than 400,000.
Telegram has actually marketed itself as a platform for free speech where they don't take down content, which means that extremist organizations like Hamas are able to post messages on Telegram with very little fear of retribution.
Hamas has been using it for terror propaganda.
Their social media strategy, especially on Telegram, is very sophisticated. Things like calling for further violence, things like justifying their actions, including attacking a music festival of civilians. It also includes things like hostage videos.
If you live in the United States, chances are you've never heard of Telegram, but it's a massive social media chat app with more than 800 million users globally. It's run by Pavel Durov.
Pavel Durov, who is referred to as the Mark Zuckerberg of Russia.
Durov ran a popular Russian social media platform but was forced out a decade ago when he wouldn't comply with Russian government censorship requests, including refusing to shut down the page of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
So eventually I had to step down as the CEO of the company and leave Russia.
Durov moved to Dubai, where he now runs Telegram. Indeed, Telegram's lax rules and private encrypted messaging have made it attractive to terrorists and extremist groups around the world.
We are not happy about ISIS or other extremist forces using Telegram. But at the same time, we think that providing this kind of secure private means of communication for the masses, for like 99.999% of people who have nothing to do with terrorism, means more than the threat that terrorists will always find a means of secure communication.
Telegram did take some steps to remove ISIS content in the past, but after Hamas used Telegram last week to warn people about a missile strike, Durov wrote, "Would shutting down their channel help save lives, or would it endanger more lives?" On every step of this conflict since October 7th, Hamas has used Telegram to tell this story.
Yes, exactly. Telegram has allowed them to shape a narrative. It's allowed them to spread messaging to very large audiences, not just Gaza. The audience is the entire world.
As Ukraine continues their defense against Russian forces, they also aim to regain lost territory. A Ukrainian special forces group began their infiltration of Russian-occupied Crimea earlier this month, even using jet skis as a means of quick transportation returning to Ukrainian territory. CNN's Fred Pletkin had a chance to speak with members of the battalion.
A brazen attack from the sea, Ukrainian forces using jet skis to land in Russian-occupied Crimea. The fighter speaking goes by the call sign musician. He tells me the operation was successful but tough. While we were landing, the sea was stormy, he says. The waves were up to 2 meters high, plus Russian warships were patrolling, the Raptors. The Ukrainians say they also managed to destroy Russian military gear before racing off across the Black Sea, using larger boats to carry fuel for the jet skis on the long journey back to Ukrainian-held territory. Musician says these missions are militarily essential. It helps our forces in the trenches, he says. We distract the enemy's attention towards us, and the enemy is forced to relocate their personnel and vehicles to the Crimean seaside. Ukraine has started a major campaign against Russian military targets in and around Crimea, hitting the HQ of Moscow's Black Sea Fleet, damaging a submarine and a Russian landing ship, as well as hitting an airbase. The Ukrainians use drones and cruise missiles for some of the attacks, but rely on a network of undercover partisan groups inside Crimea for information and targeting. One of the groups agreed to answer our questions, but only in writing for security reasons. We constantly monitor all military facilities on the territory of the Crimean Autonomous Region with the help of our agents and residents of Crimea, who constantly inform us, the Atesh group writes. A wide and developed system of agents allows you to make a choice. One of the key targets Ukraine has hit several times, the Kerch Bridge linking occupied Crimea to the Russian mainland. The attacks have led to severe disruptions, Russian leader Vladimir Putin vowing revenge. There will definitely be a response from Russia, he said. The Ministry of Defense is preparing proposals. For the Ukrainians, missions like these are also psychologically important, one of the planners of the jet ski raid tells me. We are fighting a trench war on the front lines, and the armed forces' success is not so obvious, he says. And special operations of this kind in the rear or in the sea, they inspire and give energy to keep fighting. And the fighters in the Bratstva unit say their next infiltrations are already in the works, but they won't say when, where, or how.
Well, Sam, is it just me, or it's getting a little chilly out there, isn't it?
It's not just you. I had to wear a couple layers this morning, but of course, it's bound to change. Grace Grimes has our first look at weather.
Thanks, guys. So we're finally slowly starting to feel sweater weather here in Denton. We have a current temperature of 73, and it also feels like 73. We have a cool breeze of 14 miles per hour, and it is a nice sunny day outside. On to tonight's conditions. So for tonight, we're going to have clear skies. The actual temperature is going to be 80, but the wind is going to cool it down to feel like 78. On to tomorrow's conditions. So for tomorrow, we're going to have another sunny day outside. Because of that sun, it is going to heat up a little bit to 78 degrees. But again, with the 9-mile-per-hour wind speeds, it's going to really feel like 77. That's all I have for First Look Weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Grace. Surveillance video shows a father punching a school bus driver for arriving late to the bus stop. Now Maryland bus drivers are demanding better security. CNN's Brad Bell has more.
School bus surveillance video obtained by 7 News captures the moment a man lunges onto a bus and strikes the driver as a child screams. The driver, a substitute on the Lake Arbor Elementary route Friday, was late at the stop, and the adults were angry because when the driver showed up on schedule, there were no parents present as required by the school system to take custody of kindergartners. The driver continued his route, then circled back following protocol. That's when tempers flared and angry words and blows were exchanged.
That's terrible. Yeah, it's very unsafe for us. And this is not the first time that has happened.
Nancy is a fellow school bus driver who tells us as the system deals with a driver shortage and often late buses, parent behavior and driver safety has become a concern.
We never know what we're going to run into because kids go home, I don't know what they tell their parents. Parents act younger than them kids, irresponsible. And they come out there and want to fight you instead of trying to be an adult.
A spokesperson for the school system telling 7 News that the driver in this case was following protocol. The incident is under investigation and that violence against staff will not be tolerated. Bus driver Nancy also has a message for parents.
We need them to calm down. We need them to understand that our priority one is the kids, their safety.
As of now, no charges have been filed.
There was disorder in the court yesterday as a fight broke out in a Houston courtroom. 19-year-old Frank DeLeon Jr. shot his 16-year-old ex-girlfriend in a park near her home last year. The brawl began after DeLeon accepted a plea deal, causing both parties to lash out. CNN's Michelle Choi reports.
Yeah, it was pure havoc as the two families went at it for several minutes, and it happened after the mother of the 16-year-old victim gave an emotional impact statement where she called her daughter's murderer a monster and said his mother gave birth to a monster. Our cameras were rolling through the courtroom window as Diamond Alvarez's mother began walking towards Frank DeLeon Jr. A bailiff then intervened. That's when the situation escalated, with Diamond's uncle jumping in from the gallery and punching DeLeon. DeLeon's mother then comes in and pushes Diamond's mother, the two women fighting in front of the judge when another family member from Diamond's side comes in and begins attacking DeLeon's mother. The brawl is broken up and Diamond's uncle is handcuffed and taken away. The judge then cleared out the courtroom. This all happened after DeLeon accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 45 years for murdering his ex-girlfriend. Justice, Diamond family says they've been waiting for nearly 2 years. After court, her mother apologized for losing control.
That was wrong of me. That was wrong of us because we're not monsters. But it's so much hate because I want my daughter back. And what he did it was horrible. Seeing my daughter there and looking at him that he did that and he's laughing in my face. It was very wrong and I'm so sorry for that.
As for DeLeon, who was seen with his arm in a sling, we learned he was injured in an ATV accident on his family property just hours before he was set to begin his murder trial yesterday. Yeah, prosecutors say DeLeon will have to serve at least half of his sentence before he's eligible for parole. For now, he will remain at the Harris County Jail until his formal sentencing on Thursday. Back to you.
We have a new distillery and grill right here in Denton that I might have to go try out.
And find out how you'll be affected by the weather as the week goes on.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Sitting here.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and about 1 in every 5 U.S. students between the ages of 12 and 18 have said they've been bullied. This is from a 2019 nationwide survey by National Center for Education Statistics. The effects of bullying may continue into adulthood, and health experts say prevention is critical. In Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has advice from Jody Baumstein on how to not raise a bully.
It can impact every part of a person's life. Being bullied as a child can leave lasting scars.
It can make some kids feel depressed, hopeless, even suicidal.
Parents and caregivers play a big role in bullying prevention, says licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program.
No child plans or wants to be a bully. And so we have to think about what it is that's going on.
Baumstein says prevention starts at home by creating a safe environment where children can talk about their feelings.
We don't want kids to start to internalize things, push things down, suck it up, because it's going to come out at some point. It's going to come out in other ways. It could come out at other people.
Empathy is also a key component. Baumstein says to teach kids early how to think about others and how their behavior may impact someone else.
You can do this with play. And when you're playing with puppets or dolls or anything else, get them to think about what the other characters or dolls might be experiencing. Or if you're reading a book, stop and pause and ask them, what do you think that character is feeling?
Baumstein says to also teach coping skills to help children navigate their feelings so they don't come out in other ways.
That could be everything from deep breathing, to using physical activity and movement to release stress, to being creative, drawing, coloring.
And finally, teach by example.
We can't expect kids to do something that we ourselves are not doing.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Baumstein says it's important for parents to not normalize bullying or downplay its effects, including bullying online or through text, which has affected nearly 1 in 16 surveyed. A family-run distillery here in Denton will officially open their doors this week, but this distillery comes from a bit of controversy.
To tell us more about this controversy and when they open their doors, let's go to our live reporter Carla Castillo, who is out at Anderson's. What do you have for us, Carla?
It was so bad. I did it in my car because I was already late. Oh my god. Oh, thanks guys. I'm currently here at the Anderson's Distillery, a family-run owned business and craft kitchen. And I'm currently here with Corey Anderson, the master distiller. Hi Corey, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, my first question for you is, tell me a little bit more about the distillery and your move to Denton.
Yeah, so we are obviously we're family owned. We're a distillery. We make vodka, rum, gin, whiskey, all that kind of stuff. All of our grain comes from Denton. In fact, our grain supplier is across the street that way. Yeah, and we're a craft kitchen. We're a scratch kitchen, excuse me. So everything's made here, from the pickles to the sauces, everything.
And well, okay, I know you guys gave me a little bit more back information that you guys work a lot with nonprofits. And my question is, how do you think that creating an inclusive environment here is going to help you in the Denton area?
Yeah, it's not so much about helping us. It's more just that we've always wanted to be a big community hub. And I think obviously we have the venue for it. And so, yeah, we just want to support people as best we can, help out people as best we can. And, again, just be a real staple in the community.
And is there anything else you'd like to add for the public to come out and, support Anderson's Distillery?
Come out and buy things here. No, but honestly, we have a vendor market coming up this Saturday. That's on the 21st from 12 to 9. But other than that, yeah, just come out, support, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Corey. Like he said, they do have a vendors market this week. So guys, make sure to come out here and support your local businesses. But this is all I have for you guys. Let's take it back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Carla. Well, with cooler weather finally here, it's much more enjoyable to go for a walk, and Denton has plenty of parks and trails to take in this weather. We've got Quakertown Park, which is home to the annual Arts and Jazz Festival, and it's got a great wide open space. We've also got the Clear Creek Natural Heritage Center, which holds the Old Wetlands Road and High Trail, surrounded by forests and home to a good bit of wildlife. And just in time for Halloween, we've got the infamous Old Alton Bridge, better known as Goatman's Bridge. It's the start of a 3-mile trail that runs to Hickory Creek, and in the day, it's rather scenic and green, surrounded by trees. Well, all this talk about hiking and trails made me want to go on a hike.
Me too. Hopefully the weather will hold up this week so I can. Grace Grimes has our full look at weather. Grace?
Thanks, guys. So we are finally starting to feel fall weather here in North Texas. In Denton, we have temperature of 73. And then across the regional map, we have temperatures in the 70s. Down in Houston, we have temperature of 78. Over in El Paso, we have temperatures of 80. On to the 7-day forecast. So for our 7-day forecast, I hate to disappoint y'all, but we do have temperatures that are in the 80s, in the high 80s actually. Our lows are in the 50s and 60s. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we have highs in the 70s. And on Wednesday, we do have a 50% chance of rain, so look out for that. That's all I have for today's weather. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thank you, Grace. Job-based health insurance is becoming increasingly expensive for companies and workers this year. According to KFFF Employer Health Benefits Survey, yearly premiums for family health insurance soared to $24,000, a 7% jump from last year. The average employee share of the annual premium came out to $6,575. For individual coverage, an average employee is paying just over $1,400, about $75 more than last year. Although the jump is substantial, it corresponds with rise in wages and inflation since 2022. It is safe to assume the rise will continue. While others fear artificial intelligence, this group is using the technology to detect early signs of cancer.
And stay tuned for an inspiring story of a father and son right here in DFW.
Blech. staying mentally and physically healthy is important for well-round wellness.
Our segment anchor Madeline McCrory has our Health Minute.
Will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer this year, according to estimates from the American Cancer Society. And many times, the disease isn't diagnosed until it's too late. But researchers are looking into how artificial intelligence could help with early detection. In the Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the research and the hope it's bringing for the future.
It's expected to become the second leading cause of cancer death in the U.S. by 2030. And many times, pancreatic cancer is a silent killer.
Patients typically present at a stage where the cancer has really won the battle, so to speak.
Dr. Ajit Goenka with Mayo Clinic says nearly 70% of patients with pancreatic cancer face death within the first year of diagnosis. That's why early detection is critical. But he says many times small pancreatic cancers aren't detected on CT scans until it's advanced to an incurable stage.
That effectively makes imaging as the final frontier in our quest for early cancer detection.
Goenka and other researchers used imaging data sets from past CT scans of those diagnosed with pancreatic cancer to create an artificial intelligence model that they hope will help aid in early detection of small tumors that are currently difficult to detect.
We are very happy with what we have achieved so far, but we are also mindful of the fact that we still have a lot of work remaining to be done.
The models are being tested, and Goenka says eventually they'd like to get to a point where they can present their technology for review by the FDA.
We are prepared to fight a long battle to be able to overcome early detection of pancreas cancer.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
While the researchers are focused on early detection of pancreatic cancer, they also have a goal to improve outcomes for other diseases, like diabetes, with this AI model as well. As AI works to aid our physical health, we must also work to improve our mental health. Everyone struggles from time to time, whether you're in the process of getting individual counseling or not. The UNT Counseling Testing Services has self-help suggestions for you. I have gone around campus looking for ways to follow those suggestions, right here at UNT. Take a look. I have a tag up.
Thanks, Madeline. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is known for producing talented athletes, but one that calls the city of Louisville home you may have never heard of. Chris Barnes is a 19-time Professional Bowlers Association champion and has bowled 55 300 game in his career. But behind all the accolades, the story of his family goes much deeper.
Bowling lanes around the country are packed with families every day, but one sticks out among the rest. Chris Barnes and his family are bowling icons, but their story goes much deeper than the sport they love.
These AMF bowling lanes have been Chris's home alley for a majority of his career. But for Chris, it goes beyond just these lanes. Chris's son Troy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at just 6 years old. But for the Barnes family, it was an obstacle they could overcome.
It was pretty wild when we actually found out about Troy. We were actually at Disney World, and at the end he was so tired and he was having to go to the restroom all the time. That's when we found out, and our world kind of turned upside down, and we became expert label readers, among other things.
15 years later, Troy has made the journey to college. Being on his own, however, has presented a new challenge.
It's the first time in my life I'm on my own. If anything happens, it's up to me to figure it out. So obviously that pressure is nerve-wracking at times.
You just feel so helpless. We can't really change it. We can help him along, but we can't even, once you get to a certain age, you have to take on all that burden and you live with it every day.
Chris and his family have helped, though, using their platform to create a fundraiser in support of those dealing with type 1 diabetes.
It was a way for us to be able to raise some money and feel better about it, contributing towards hopefully a cure.
Seeing the amount of work that, my mom and dad both put into it, being there at the event and seeing how many people showed up and how much money was raised, and just the outreach was incredible.
Troy has now picked up and gotten the bug a little bit, bowling down at SFA, and he started to bowl as a 298 game, a 299 game, and I think it won't be long before he shoots 300.
ntTV News, I'm Drew Maurer.
Wow, what an inspiring story. And how admirable that Chris uses his platform in that way. To donate to Troy's cause and the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, please visit www.jdrf.org/donate.
As interesting as that story was, I'm having trouble keeping my eyes open. I stayed up way too late to watch the Stars game.
Yeah, I tried to, but I fell asleep right before the shootout, so I missed the final score. Well, hopefully our sports anchor Gabby Pippins can tell us a little more about it. Gabby?
Yeah, guys, I'm also having trouble staying awake up here, but when we come back, we'll discuss the Stars game, along with how our Cowboys did before their bye week, and I'll also give an update on our UNT football team right after this.
Did you know you have access to video equipment like DVDs, video games, and cameras? That's right, you do. Come on down to Chilton Library and fulfill your media dream. Located on the bottom floor next to the student sculpture. Hope to see you there soon. Hey girl, you know you look good. I like the way you move and groove. I'm not sure.
The NHL is finally back in full swing, and the Dallas Stars kicked off their second game of the season with a Western Conference Finals rematch against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Stars center Craig Smith scored the first goal with help from Tyler Seguin and Thomas Harley in the second period. The Golden Knights answered with a wrist shot of their own to close out the period, and Rube Hintz set Joe Pavelski up for a goal early in the third. Things seemed pretty wrapped up, but Vegas center William Karlsson got a last-minute tip in and sent the game into a no-goal overtime. The shootout looked promising with Jake Ottinger blocking the first shot, but Jason Robertson and Matt Duchene's shots bounced off the crossbar, while Vegas made their shots, leading to a devastating 2-3 loss. The Dallas Cowboys also had a crucial game Monday night against the Los Angeles Chargers. Dallas was coming off of a loss and going into a bye week, so this game was truly one to win. The game started with a touchdown from both teams, and Dak Prescott ran for a career-high 18-yard touchdown. Both teams also scored field goals close to the end of the second and third quarters, but things heated up in the fourth. Dak connected with Brandon Cooks for a touchdown, but a punt return blunder almost cost the Cowboys the game. Luckily, Micah Parsons got a critical sack, and Stephon Gilmore later intercepted the ball with just over a minute left in the game, and Dallas up by 3 to win the game 20-17. And finally, our very own Mean Green football team played Temple last Saturday at the DATQ Stadium. Fans were worried for UNT's performance after their close loss against the Navy, but they came back better than ever. Chandler Rogers started the game off strong with a 19-yard touchdown pass to Roderick Burns, and Temple answered with a touchdown of their own. UNT did them one better and responded with 2 touchdowns from Jamori Macklin and Kalen Horton, plus a field goal from Noah Rostenberg to end the half 24-14. UNT increased the lead from that point with more touchdowns to end the game in a blowout win, 45-14. That's all I've got for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
One Harvard student was finally accomplished a lifelong dream, but it's not one you might expect. Benjamin Chang rode across the Charles River in one of the more unlikely sources of transportation, a 1,500-pound pumpkin. Chang picked up the large gourd from a New Hampshire farm. Then he and his friends wheeled it to the river Saturday morning. They spent nearly 2 hours carving it out. Chang and his friends used the event to raise money for Harvard's student-lead bioengineering lab. People donated for a chance to row along the riverbank before Chang set out for his journey across the river. Chang said he hopes that his feat demonstrates the wonders of biology and inspires people to think outside the box.
Well, that's pretty cool, Sam. I probably should go do that myself, I guess. Thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here at North Texas Television.